Alright, so what's up guys? So we are out here on another run. Out here running and doing this crazy nonsense for all of you, right? Running in this super duper hot Miami weather, right? Almost about to collapse, right? Run to you collapse. And you know, from that, you are essentially going to want to stop running, because I don't know about you, but I do, right? This shit sucks, right? It can suck for a brief second of time. And you know, even like me, I really gotta use the bathroom, oh my god. And it's okay, because we're pushing through, we're working out, right? We're on our way to our objective, and that is the finish line and the freedom it could potentially possess. And you know, for you, especially if you're trying to run, a big portion of the muscles being used is the quads. But you need a good set of quad muscles to run, right? When you're jogging and especially sprinting, those things got to be rock solid, right? They got to be able to take on, you know, everything that you throw at them, right? They can't simply be weak and, you know, flimsy, right? They're almost like your tires in a sense, right? Your wheels, right? I'd argue, yeah, it's like the whole wheel in and of itself. And you know, from that, how is your car gonna move without its wheels, right? It's almost silly to actually think, you know, of a car moving without them, right? It's gonna go nowhere. So for you, you're gonna figure out how to build your quads, how to strengthen them. And don't worry, because we are gonna give you 3 tips to build your quads, right? Make them bigger, right? Make them nice and huge and awesome, right, for you. So, you know, without further ado, we will go into tip number 1, and that is to alternate legs when you're working out, right? Do it one leg at a time, right? Don't simply just work out both at once, right? Because although that's good, that's fine and dandy, with muscles like huge ones, especially the quads, they require isolation. And you know, it's much easier to isolate those muscles when you do them one leg at a time as opposed to both, because you know, with both there's so much going on, right? You're just pushing the entire weight as a whole, and while that's good, while that's fine and dandy, you're not going to simply expose your weak points as easy as it is when working one leg at a time, because a big part of working out is finding out what your weaknesses are, right? What you suck at. Because I don't know about you, but I only really feel as strong as my weak points, right? What good is it to simply have huge biceps and, you know, have your triceps be below average? They suck, right? And the same thing goes with your quads, right? What good is it to have the biggest arms if your legs, you know, are super small and almost insignificant? That your workouts are going to be weird. You're not going to be in the best shape of your life. So, you know, for you, by working one leg at a time, you're going to find out which leg is the weaker leg, right? You're only going to be focusing on 4 muscles at once, because the quad is a group of 4 muscle groups within one. And had you worked out, you know, both legs at a time, you're working out 8, and that could be a complicated mess. So, you know, from that, doing them one leg at a time, you're gonna find the weaker quad, and you'll be able to work that one out more. And when you go to 2, the, you know, stronger leg will compensate for the weaker leg that was worked out more, and it'll all balance out when you go from one leg at a time then to both. So for that, hope you can take that into advice when working out your quads. And now we will go into tip number 2 as far as working out your quads, and that it just doesn't stop at the weight room or the track, right? You got to do both. You got to be in the weight room pushing as much weight as you can, you know, with those quads, but also, you know, be able to go to the track and use them the way they were meant to be used, and that is, you know, to help you move forward, right? Help you take extra steps and push into the ground, because that's what they were made for. But if you simply do that, they won't be the strongest they can be, because there's other ways that you can push those muscles, right, and make them stronger and better. So if you figure that out, right, think about that, right, so that way you know, can work on them more, right, and push them to, you know, their capabilities in essence, right, because they're so capable, right? It's 4 freaking muscle groups, right? There's so much you could do with them, and you know, for you, you got to mix it up, right? So what I suggest is simply going, you know, to the gym 3 times a week and running probably 2 or 3 of the other days, or even mixing it up, right? Doing it in the same day can also be useful, but probably not as useful as if you dedicated a whole day to it, a whole day to running or a whole day to weightlifting. So, you know, for that, you're gonna be, you know, almost like, I think of it's like 2 worlds, right? You'll be the best of both worlds, but you'll be the best runner and the best lifter. And, you know, doing those 2 is gonna make you a strong person, strong guy or girl, right? And have those strong quads, right? Those huge muscles, right? When you work those things out like crazy, they're gonna pop, right? They're probably, actually, they are the biggest muscles in your legs and probably your whole body, right? Because those things are huge, right? They're just not little biceps that can form a ball and grow like that. So, you know, from that, take that into account, right? Really focus on pushing those things, right? Because they're big, complex things. And, you know, from that, you will learn that and essentially build up your quads and make them huge, monstrous things. Hey, what's up, man? I see you. Watch this. Uh-oh. Thank you. I just had some competition, but you know the deal. You know the deal. We out here. So before we got carried away, you know, we will go into the 3rd tip for building those quads, right? Getting them huge and nice and bulky, and that is to, you know, essentially, slow it down, right? The quads, you know, aren't really like the calves or the abdominals, right? Those muscles, you're better off working them out with these long and extensive workout routines, right? Sets of 40-50 crunches or 40-50, you know, calf raises, right, will be your best bet for those. But, you know, when it comes down to your quads, you're better off doing low reps, right? Because if you go too fast, you can be susceptible to knee problems and so forth, right? So work on them slow, right? Really slow down and focus on your mind and your body. And, you know, from that, your quads will look nice and thick and muscular, because that's what you want. And, you know, from that, you will get monster quads, a monster set of those big muscles that will drive you forward, especially, you know, when you're running, right? When you're pushing weight, you know, in the gym, it'll carry over. There's so many exercises that quads can serve as a byproduct to, right, that can help you out. Hey, especially when it comes, to squats and other workouts. Right, there's pretty much always used right there in the front. Right, you can't miss them. They're not like the hammies or the glutes where they're on the back end. Right, someone sees you, they come face to face to you, they're gonna see your quads. And if you got a good set of them, it's really gonna set you ahead. Right, it's gonna make you stand out in terms of fitness goals and objectives, right? Because those things are probably my money makers, right? I'm so proud of my quads, but because you see them, right, the first thing you notice when you see my legs. So for that, take these 4 tips, or 3, I'm sorry, 3 tips into account and build those quads. And for that we say thank you and goodbye.